Welcome to Within the Frame, where we bring the most pressing issues across the globe into focus. I'm Kim Mok-yeon. The rise of artificial intelligence has become one of the most disruptive technological shifts of our time. From large language models shaping the way we communicate to algorithms influencing financial markets, medical diagnostics, and even justice systems, AI is now deeply embedded in the fabric of modern life. But AI also brings ethical concerns from bias and inequality to data ownership and creative authorship. With global powers competing to lead the AI race, the question now is no longer whether AI should be used, but how it can be used responsibly. To delve deeper into how we can coexist with artificial intelligence, we connect to Professor Agustin Rayo, Dean of the School of Humanities, Arts, and Social Sciences at Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
So, Professor, let's dig in right away. Generative AI, such as OpenAI models, has already become an essential part of our daily lives, of course. In your view, what has enabled AI to, so rapidly integrate into our daily lives in such a short period of time?
It's because it works. It's because it's extraordinary. I mean, it makes humans more powerful. If it was just a novelty, people would, try it once or twice and stop using it. But people keep using it because it makes their work more efficient.
Right. So it's really remarkable how quickly it went from novelty to necessity, especially, since user interfaces became more intuitive and also accessible. Now, Professor, as AI technologies advance at a very fast pace, AI ethics is being increasingly discussed nowadays. For starters, could you explain for us what AI ethics exactly is, and why do you believe it should be emphasized particularly now?
Well, it's absolutely crucial because I think that the future of AI, whether it is a tool for society good or not, depends on what we do with it. So I think these questions of AI ethics are crucial. And I think that there's a narrow understanding of ethics, which is just the difference between moral and amoral uses of AI, things like, whether you use algorithms that are just. But I think that is only part of the issue. I think we need to focus on the broader societal set of issues. Things like, what kinds of disruptions will AI cause when it comes to jobs? Or what kind of energy use will the AI require? And how will society adapt to this? So as you said earlier, the rate of change is enormously fast, and the scale is absolutely enormous. So we cannot develop the technology and leave it at that. We need to develop the technology and at the same time, as a society, think about where we want the technology to head and take action accordingly.
Right. So it's really crucial, especially when the speed of development often outpaces legal and social norms too. Now, let's also talk in the context of AI ethics onwards. Issues like algorithm bias and personal data protection have also emerged lately. From your perspective, what is the most critical ethical challenge that AI currently poses?
I think there are three main challenges. The first is job disruption. The second is privacy. I think that AI will allow the digital debris that we use throughout our lives to be very effectively traced. And that might threaten people's privacy. And thirdly, I worry that it might lead to inequity. I worry that if there's a very small group of people that controls these extraordinary technologies, and in particular, if they're controlled by individuals rather than nation states, this will lead to an extraordinary social imbalance that could be very dangerous.
Right, so job disruption, privacy, and inequality. Professor, you've also said in a previous interview that inequality is one of the major threats. Could you elaborate for us the reason for this, and what kind of real-world impact might inequality caused by flawed ethical standards have on our society?
Absolutely. So the core issue is that a lot of AI nowadays is money. So the basic technology is understood. And the big difference between the very best AI models and the rest is the amount of training that goes into these models. And that just requires billions of dollars, mostly in energy. The result is that this is something that not everyone can afford. For example, universities aren't really in that game because it's just beyond their budgets. And in practice, this kind of training has been carried out by industry rather than governments. So, the owners of the relevant companies control these very, very powerful technologies. And if we end up in a situation in which there are versions of AI that are far superior to anything else, and they're controlled by one or two companies, then those companies will wield an extraordinary amount of power over the way our society works. And that social imbalance could lead to instability.
Right, so very powerful information handed over to very powerful people. It would be definitely concerning. Now, lately in South Korea, Professor, there had been a trend where people used image generating AI to transform their own photos into a style of Japanese animation, also called as Ghibli style. I also did it myself, and this actually was fun, but this has sparked debates around copyright infringement and creative ethics as well. To what extent do you think laws and ethical standards should intervene in AI-generated creative works?
They're absolutely crucial. And I think that, as you have emphasized, the pace of the technology is much, much faster than the rate at which we're introducing regulations and practices to keep it under control. So I think that it's extraordinarily important that governments take action. And I think it's not just governments. I think it's also society. So I think that work like the one that you are doing in this program is extraordinarily important so that people understand the issues at stake and so that people take these questions seriously. I think that without social understanding and really social pressure to make some of these changes, it'll be very hard for them to be implemented.
Right, so we really need to understand, the tension between innovation and intellectual rights as well. Now, places such as the EU, also South Korea, are proposing various regulatory frameworks to ensure the safe use of AI. Professor, but some critics argue that current AI regulations still are quite vague. How do you think ethical standards should evolve in response to the advances in AI technology?
Well, first of all, they're going to have to evolve quickly. But I think that there is a very good guiding principle. I think the guiding principle is that we need to incentivize the creation of forms of AI that enhance humans rather than replace humans. So, one can think of AI like a calculator or a computer. A human with a calculator or with a computer is more powerful than a human without one. So this is a respect in which calculators or computers aren't replacing a human, they're enhancing them. And I think that, there is a path for AI where it really just replaces humans and destroys jobs. But I think that we as a society can steer the technology so that it's more the calculator model, so that, we continue as humans to be in charge. We continue as humans to be the ones who are responsible for the originality and the direction of our work, but we're more effective and get more enjoyment out of our jobs because we do it in conjunction with AI. So I think that we can use this plus an awareness of social well-being as the guiding principle by which our regulation proceeds.
Right, so you mean us users should be really aware and have responsibility of our work despite using the help of AI?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We cannot surrender creative control or ownership to AI. That is something that humans have to retain. We have to remember that AI is a tool, and it's ultimately a tool for our agency.
Definitely. Now, Professor, some people argue that AI ethics is not just a technical issue, but also a human one. As an expert in the field, what is your take on this perspective?
Um, I mean, I think that it, this is a turning point for society. I think that unless we take the ethical and social aspects of this transformation, of this realignment of the way we operate seriously, it's not going to head in the right direction. I think that if the considerations that go into this are simply the desire to make money by companies who are developing and ultimately controlling the technology, that's not going to create the right incentives. But I think with social awareness and the right regulations, we together can make sure that this is a technology for good and not a technology for evil.
Right, that's a powerful point. So ethics isn't just a code that you can debug, it's a reflection of human values and priorities as well.
Absolutely. And the risk is that normally it takes time. The Industrial Revolution was an enormous disruption as well. But even though it happened rapidly, it happened much more slowly than the current disruption. So humans had more time to adapt and to develop an understanding of the ethical and social considerations that came with the disruption. Right now, we need to act fast. We need to do it now. We need to take it seriously as a society.
Right, we need to act fast. Now, Professor, educating those who develop and use AI seems very, very crucial in cultivating ethical awareness and also guiding the future path of AI development. As a professor, what educational initiative has MIT introduced in this regard?
Well, this is extremely important at MIT. So we started a very important new component of MIT, which is the Schwarzman College of Computing. And it's meant to put computing at the center of a lot of what we do. And one of the key pillars on which the college is based is social and ethical responsibilities of computing. And the idea is to make sure that this kind of thinking is an essential part, not just of the education of our students, but of the way in which we think about computing at MIT. So it's very important for me that MIT students graduate with a broad understanding of these issues, that they not just be excellent at the technical aspects of what they do, but that they understand the political and social and ethical and human dimensions of the work that they do and of the consequences that implementation of the technologies that they develop will have on the world.
Right. So what you're doing seems really, really crucial. If we don't train tomorrow's developers to think ethically today, the risk of embedding bias, we would risk the embedding bias by default. Now, Professor, you've mentioned this is ways by the MIT to, train AI developers. But what about on user side? Do you have any things to add for, or tips for the users to keep in mind when using these AI technologies?
I mean, I think that the main thing is to not surrender control. So, if you're a student who is using AI for an essay, I think it's crucial that one not just let AI write the essay. So I think the right way to think of this is I'm writing the essay, and I'm appealing to AI for ideas. I'm asking AI to work on clarifying what I'm doing. But the effort really is mine, and I am the one who decides its direction. I am the one who takes responsibility for making sure that the quality is where it needs to be. It's a little bit like having a team. It's like being the leader of a team where you have to retain responsibility.
Right, so it circles back to responsibility. You should be the one who's navigating the situation.
Absolutely.
Now, as the global AI race intensifies, Professor, there still seems to be a long way to go in terms of implementing clear value standards and systematic institutionalization, either through private self-regulation or national frameworks. In your opinion, what approaches are necessary to actually ensure a balanced coexistence between AI and human beings?
I mean, I think that some of the dimensions we talked about are really crucial. So one of them is privacy. So we need to make sure that we have strong privacy protection so that these extraordinary technologies aren't used to, generate a surveillance state, for example. Another is jobs. I think we need to create regulation that incentivizes the development of AI. It needs to be developed, but in ways that enhance humans rather than replace them. And finally, I think we need to do something analogous to what we did when antitrust regulations were passed to control monopolies, to make sure that these extraordinarily powerful technologies don't end up in the hands of very few private individuals.
Right, that would be very crucial. Professor Rayo, thank you so much for your contribution to our program and for your insights tonight. As we've heard, the future of AI isn't just about innovation, it's about intention, and building ethical, human-centered systems will be key to ensuring technology serves our all fairly and responsibility. Professor, again, I want to say thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
And that'll be all from us on Within the Frame. Be sure to tune in again next time as we continue to explore the stories that matter. Till then, stay informed and engaged.